Purchasing power is quietly bleeding out of your wallet every single day. And most people have no idea it's happening. We're not talking about some fringe conspiracy. We're talking about inflation eating your cash like a slow, polite termite infestation nobody warned you about. The dollar in your savings account today is not the same dollar it was 3 years ago. And yet millions of people are still letting their money sit in checking accounts earning a fraction of 1%. Meanwhile, the cost of groceries, rent, and gas has climbed so aggressively that even economists who should know better started doing double takes at their own models. Enter stablecoins, the financial invention that sounds boring enough to put you to sleep, but might actually be one of the most quietly powerful tools in the modern money conversation. Think of them as digital dollars that don't spontaneously combust when crypto markets decide to have one of their signature meltdowns. The catalyst here isn't just inflation. It's the combination of volatile markets, shaky bank confidence after the collapses we saw in 2023, and a generation of investors who got burned badly enough to want anything that holds its value while still working for them. Stablecoins like USDC or USDT are pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar, meaning they don't swing 40% in a weekend the way your favorite altcoin does. Now here's where it gets genuinely interesting and a little ironic. You can actually earn higher yields on stablecoins through decentralized finance platforms than most traditional banks will ever offer you. We're talking platforms where your digital dollars can generate anywhere from 4 to 12% annually, while your brick and mortar bank hands you a coffee shop receipt and calls it interest. But let's be honest, there was a moment somewhere around 2021 where everyone thought decentralized finance was going to replace the entire banking system by Tuesday. Then, the algorithmic stablecoin Terra USD collapsed in May of 2022, wiping out roughly $40 billion in value almost overnight. And suddenly, the whole conversation got very sober very fast. That crash was a masterclass in the difference between a real stablecoin and a pretend one. And that distinction matters enormously when you're trying to protect purchasing power rather than gamble it. True asset-backed stablecoins like USDC are regularly audited and hold actual dollar reserves, while algorithmic ones were essentially running on vibes and circular logic. History rhymes here in a way that should feel familiar. Every financial innovation has its tulip mania moment where caution gets thrown out the window, and then the wreckage teaches the next wave of participants what the rules actually are. The lesson isn't to avoid the tool. The lesson is to understand which version of the tool you're actually holding. A common misconception is that using stablecoins means you're fully inside the crypto world and therefore exposed to its chaos. But that's like saying you're a race car driver because you once rented a Mustang. You can use stablecoins purely as a yield-generating dollar equivalent without ever touching Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever the next speculative craze turns out to be. The practical playbook here is straightforward. Allocate a portion of your cash reserves, not your emergency fund, not your rent money, into reputable stablecoin yield platforms like Aave, Compound, or centralized options like Coinbase, and let that money earn while you stay liquid. Discipline means you're not chasing the 12% yield on some anonymous protocol nobody has audited. You're picking boring, battle-tested platforms and accepting the more modest but reliable 4 to 6%. Position size is everything in this game. And the people who got hurt worst in 2022 weren't necessarily wrong about stablecoins. They were wrong about concentration. Putting 20% of your liquid cash into a yield strategy is a hedge. Putting 100% in is a prayer. There's something almost philosophically satisfying about using the infrastructure of the same volatile crypto world to shelter yourself from that volatility. It's the financial equivalent of using the fire to keep warm instead of burning your house down. Consistency, patience, and rational allocation will outperform conviction and timing every single time in every single market cycle without exception. At the end of the day, whether markets rip higher or crash into the basement, a well-sized stablecoin yield position means you're not just watching from the sidelines panicking, you're earning, staying liquid, and ready to deploy when real opportunities emerge. That's not a moonshot strategy. That's just grown-up money management dressed in modern clothes. And if this kind of thinking resonates with you, the idea of making your money work smarter across multiple asset classes than real estate, lending, and strategic contracting might be the next conversation worth having. Check out our links in the description below to see how we can help you get started.